Throughout human history, housing has been playing two major roles in a man's life. Economically, housing constitutes an important provision to a nation. It provides not only shelter, but also security, comfort, and dignity. It is a social necessity because good housing enhances healthy living, which in return influences human labor and productivity. That is why the provision of affordable housing in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized. Good to have you join me on today's episode of Housing Development, your go-to source for housing information in Nigeria. I am your housing diva, Bldr. First, let's see the trending news in the sector. I'll be back shortly.
Developers at the 15th edition of the Abuja International Housing Show have called for a review of the Land Use Act to enable them have access to land for development. Some of the developers who spoke at the event said the Land Use Act is overdue and needs to be urgently reviewed to meet up with current global trends. They noted that the act, which gives the sole right to the government, makes it a cumbersome and daunting process to acquire land, which is one of the major infrastructure in housing development. They equally pointed out that policymakers, especially the National Assembly, should review the act to enable it to meet up with current realities. According to them, we cannot be operating with the decree enacted by the military regime when we are now operating a democratic system. Previously displaced persons and low-income earners in Gamdu town in Kaga local government area of Borno State have joined a fast-growing number of families in the state with access to decent homes of their own. The 300 housing units of semi-detached 2 bedrooms were commissioned recently by the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, in company of the Managing Director of Family Homes Funds Limited, Femi Adewale, and the managing team. In partnership with the state government, the Family Homes Funds financed the project and provided other technical support required to improve the living condition of low-income earners and internally displaced persons in the state. According to Governor Zulum, Borno State began the partnership with the Family Homes Funds about 2 years ago and was delighted about the impact the partnership is making. He also promised to ensure that the remaining homes are completed within the next year and are located to the most vulnerable in the state. The government of Abia State has tasked town planners and related professionals in the state to use the pedestal provided by a 2-day retreat organized by the Ministry of Lands, Survey and Urban Planning to design an enduring roadmap that would make Abia cities the best designed in the country. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Survey and Urban Planning, Aaron Ikechi Bestman, made the call while declaring open a 2-day retreat on Abia State Town Planning Development Council Regulations 2021 held in Aba. The Permanent Secretary, who is also a town planner, restated his resolve to make the ministry the best in Nigeria, leveraging on the advantages of training and retraining staff of the ministry for optimal performance. A new report by Global Financial Integrity, an American think tank focused on illicit financial flows, corruption, illicit trade, and money laundering, has ranked Nigeria 5th among countries with the most politically exposed persons involved in real estate money laundering schemes in the U.S. The report, titled Acres of Money Laundering: Why U.S. Real Estate is a Kleptocrat's Dream, delved into the murky world of global money laundering and demonstrated the ease with which kleptocrats, criminals, sanctions evaders, and corrupt government officials chose the U.S. real estate market as their preferred destination to hide and launder proceeds from illicit activities. A key finding from the report showed that from cases reported in the last 5 years, more than $2.3 billion had been laundered through the U.S. real estate. The report recommended a more robust approach by the U.S. government in addressing the issue, including requiring real estate agents to to identify the beneficial owner of a residential real estate purchase and making legal professionals the lead reporting entity for identifying money laundering risks in commercial real estate transactions.
What is the name of my grandson?
Suleiman.
That's a good name. May the Almighty preserve him.
Amin.
Now that your family is growing, this is the time for you to start thinking of a house of your own.
Abba, the thought of this has always been on my mind. To build a house now, you need a lot of money, and that is what is holding me back.
Sonny, what you need is a mortgage. NHF mortgage loan. With NHF mortgage loan, you own a house upfront and pay gradually over a long period of time.
Abba, I will go to the FMBN office right away.
Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
For more news on housing, finance, construction, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. The 51st Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Nigerian Institute of Building Tact, ECOAKETE, will be holding soon. Bldr Bimbo Kolade, the third Vice President of NIOB, will give more details.
I'm Bldr Bimbo Kolade, the third Vice President of the Nigeria Institute of Building. We be having the 51st Annual General Meeting and Conference of the Nigeria Institute of Building, which we have tagged as ECOAKETE 2021 this year because the conference will be holding in Lagos State. This year's conference theme is on advancing technologies, system and standard for sustainable building construction. As we all know, last year we could not have a physical meeting because of what we all know all over the world that's creeping, just like that, in the world, and that is the issue of COVID-19. With this also comes the advent of technology, and we see the advancement of technology in almost every facet of life, and the built environment is not left behind also. We'll be looking at various sub-themes, discussions on advances and emerging technology as it affects foundation construction, as it affects wall and structural construction, and as it affects roof constructions also. So these are the things that we'll be looking at during this year's conference in Lagos. At the conference, we are expecting speakers within the country and outside the country who are professional builders and other professionals within the built environment, will be there. And the governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who is expected to be the chairman of the occasion to declare the occasion open. We are expecting other dignitaries there at the event. Experts in all areas and in all these fields are expected to handle sections within the conference. There will be technical papers presentation, and thereafter we'll go into group discussions whereby we can share knowledge, we can share information, within the built environment and within the industry. We are looking forward also to receive in attendance also the President of the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria and all the President of the fellow professional bodies within the built environment, like the president of the Nigerian Institute of Architects, the president of Nigeria Society of Engineers, the president of Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyor, and allied professionals, within the industry. All of them are expected to be at this function, and we believe that everyone that attends will have something good to take home. The conference is open to every professionals within the built environment. It's expected that as the technology is advancing and affecting even the production stages of building, likewise also, this will have its own ripple effects even on the after the completion of the project also. The conference starts on the 24th of this month, August, and it will last for 3 days at the Podium International Effects Center on Aromire Avenue off Adeni Jones in Ikeja.
The third Vice President of NIOB, Bldr Bimbo Kolade, speaking on the 51st NIOB AGM and conference coming up soon in Lagos State. Moving on, it is a known fact in Nigeria that the demand for housing outweighs the supply of housing. Coming up shortly is a major future of panelists of the 15th AIHS as they speak on housing finance in a post-COVID-19 era. Have a look.
Housing affordability continues to be a major limiting factor to home ownership in Nigeria, even as COVID-19 has negatively affected Nigeria's economy. A major area of concern to housing development and home ownership has been housing financing, which has often been fingered as one of the most formidable constraints in the housing sector. It is in recognition of the critical importance of finance in housing delivery that the topic, housing finance in a post-COVID era, lessons and opportunities for emerging markets, was deliberated on at day one of the 15th Abuja International Housing Show. This session was chaired by Hakeem Ogunniran, while the lead speaker, Maria Hoke Smith, is the Director, International Housing Finance Program, Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. Speaking as one of the panelists, Andrew Chimphondah, MD, Shelter Afrique, Kenya, says his finance institution is ready to work with partnership to provide funding to banks as well as established developers in Nigeria.
We are not experts in the market of Nigeria, but we want to work in partnerships. We do not provide end-user financing, but we provide wholesale funding. We provide funding to banks. We provide funding to established developers, likes of Mixta and a few others that we will be looking at. So we believe the future is not in focusing on small projects, but large-scale projects in public-private partnerships that work, where every partner is bringing something to the table. We also believe there's a lot of opportunity through regional integration. If anything has taught us well with COVID is this thing of relying outside of Africa doesn't work. We believe in buy Nigeria, build Nigeria. Buy Africa, build Africa.
Bank of Industry State Manager, FCT, Ogo Ifeoma, also stated that Bank of Industry at this time is willing to provide finance with their innovative finance solution program to encourage more development and manufacturing in this post-COVID era in Nigeria.
What do you want to hear that Bank of Industry can offer post-pandemic and within pandemic? Our first reaction is that for those whom we finance that are contributors to the housing sector development, by which I mean the input providers. Anybody, any producer, manufacturer, outside those providing the land and maybe technical and professional services to the housing sector is my customer. The wood processing, PVC pipes and the rest of it, the windows, the glass, anything manufactured that could be used in the housing sector is my customer. If they are here, please visit us and we'll see how we can collaborate with you. A lot of talk was made concerning the suppliers and the micro. Of course, that is my platform. We use the micro enterprises, the small and medium enterprises, and the large enterprises platform to deliver financing to suppliers of housing inputs. So feel free to communicate.
Hakeem Ogunniran, MD, Eximia Realty, and chairman of the session on his part, emphasized that housing must be commoditized to increase the buying capacity.
A lot of outside of the box thinking is required. We cannot continue to do things the same way we have always done it. I've always said that for us to move this industry forward, particularly in Nigeria, two things must happen. We must commoditize housing. We have to create a system that enables us to buy houses pretty much the same way we buy every other thing. That increases the absorption capacity.
COSGROVE prepared for this moment. Every strategy, every step, it all inevitably led to this moment. It is said success is the offspring of preparation. Well, as a company, we are always ready for the next phase, and that next phase is here.
COSGROVE is resolved to be the investment partner of choice for institutional investors like BIBC to accomplish their mission.
We came to a realization that COSGROVE Investment Limited is a very reliable investment company.
Today is a special day for me as chairman of BIBC. I'm excited to be here with all my board members.
That next phase is COSGROVE Smart Estate, Mabushi.
I hereby declare this project to commence.
Hi, I'm Bob Weinsheng, CEO of iBuild Global. Keep watching the Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. The problem of housing delivery in Nigeria is becoming a source of concern to many, as it not only affects the well-being of the citizens, but also the growth and development of the economy. Housing problem has become glaring. The greater number of people living in urban areas in Nigeria live in housing environments that are dehumanizing, and those that have access to decent houses do so at astronomical costs. Now take a look at some Abuja residents grown under the heavy weight of house rent.
The decision to move the capital city to the Federal Capital Territory by the military administration under General Ibrahim Babangida seems to be fast bringing a burden on civil servants working in the capital city. This is because majority of civil servants who work and live in the capital city and outskirts of Abuja are complaining over the rent obligation they have to meet every 12 months, and this is affecting their efficiency at work and inadvertently slowing down government business. Housing Development went around the capital city to feel the pulse of Abuja citizens on the matter, and some of the respondents lamented, amongst other things, the absence of regulation to curb the excesses of landlords who seem to be operating without any human face. Abdullahi Anas is a civil servant who lives in Kubwa.
As a civil servant, federal civil servant here in Abuja, with the salary and what they are giving us as a house rent is very, very high. It's not nothing to write home about.
Adebayo Julius, in his comments, berated landlords in Abuja for failing to have a human face to see what tenants face yearly.
It's quite unfortunate that even we, the downtrodden, we are not helping ourselves, especially the landlord. I don't know, maybe because of the law attached to their name that made them to be misbehaving. Do you imagine that even despite the lockdown, some landlord will still be putting call across to you, still reminding you that your rent has expired. You understand? I don't know whether blood no longer runs in our vein. You understand? That will not make you to have more sympathy when it's come to house rent. Or better, like I said earlier, or because of the Lord attached to their name, landlord, that made them to be misbehaving.
The case of Linus Njoku, who lives in Maraba, Nasarawa State, and has to commute daily to work in the heart of the capital city, simply fits the experiences of civil servants and other Abuja residents, who in their majority have set their sights on small towns like Maraba, Masaka, and Suleja because they cannot afford rent in the capital city. His words: coping with the payment of house rent is a terrible situation for the country.
In the first instance, every citizen of the country is supposed to own his own house. But unfortunately, because of the way things are, many of us have not been able to attain that stage. Then on the house rent itself, why I say it's a terrible situation is the landlords are not they are not being forced to regulate the house rent or the amount that's supposed to be charged on a particular type of house or a particular side of the country. So if government is fully in control, we expected that government by now should have been able to say or to make a law. Houses in this part of the country should be, this is how much they should regulate, how much the landlord should be collecting. I know that building materials are too expensive and the government is not giving the landlords money to build or refurbish their houses. But at the same time, in as much as we have government in place, a lot of things are supposed to be regulated.
Godon Atai, in his comment, said rent in Asokoro is very high.
One needs to go extra mile to raise money to pay rent. A two-bedroom apartment can go as much as 2.5, 3 million, sometimes even 3.5 million. And if one is not really having a reasonable source of income, you cannot live there. It's unnecessarily high.
Blessed Karam, who lives in Asokoro Extension, also lamented thoughts.
House rent in Abuja is very, very outrageous, considering that Abuja is the administrative hub of Nigeria. One would expect that house rent in Nigeria in Abuja should be very, very considerate because most of the occupants of Abuja are civil servants. But to my greatest surprise, you see the house rent in Abuja is very, very outrageous that one can hardly afford. That's why you see people living in outskirts in Abuja instead of the Abuja city.
While we talk about high rent payment and housing affordability and housing for all in Nigeria and the problems that needs to be addressed to achieve it, one question we should ask is, how much can an average Nigerian conveniently afford to pay for a house? Well, let's find out on Voices on the Streets.
Depend on the location of the place of the house, you understand? There is a place whereby you can pay 2 million, there is a place where you can pay 10 million. It depend on the area of where the house is located.
I think a 3-bedroom shouldn't be more than, ideally, shouldn't be more than 15 million. Yes, but with the standard and what is going on in Abuja, it's more than that. A 3-bedroom is something that is running up to like 45 million naira, and I think it's crazy. It's too expensive.
If one should go for a 3-bedroom flat in the Garimpa area here, you can compare it with the amount you want to pay for such at Lugbe or Yanya or Kubwa, as case may be.
Anywhere in Abuja, if I have the funds, I don't mind 15, 20 million. If I have the funds.
If I'm opportune to buy a house of a 3-bedroom bungalow, the highest I can pay is I can pay 4.5.
Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States, and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
One of the most important issues any government can address is housing affordability, where those in the low-income group in the society can afford to own a house with ease. On that note, I wrap up today's edition of the program. Thanks for watching. Keep it the same time next week. I remain Flora Arne, your housing diva. See you soon.